Welcome back to Tech Vets, the podcast, and today we are joined by Robbie Ramsay, who is working for Network London, and we have caught up with you at a couple of Tech Vets events over the years. So welcome and thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So firstly, I think kind of rewinding a few months, the last time that I saw you was at the event that Tech Vets held with Google. How did you find that event?
That was the Google Pathways into Tech one, I believe. That was great. It was a good opportunity to speak to many employers, which is useful, but more so, I think, just hearing the insight of other veterans in the space and how they've transitioned from having a career in the forces into tech. It kind of, provides a source of inspiration in a way, because I think there's a lot of work to do when you get out of the forces to give yourself hard skills to get into employment. So those inspirations are very useful.
And when you went to the event, were you employed or were you still seeking a job? Where were you at?
So I'd actually transitioned out of the Air Force and I was working as a personal trainer at the time, but it wasn't quite right for me. It wasn't what I wanted, and I was looking to transition into tech. So it's kind of why I was there.
And what happened after the event? So you've obviously left personal training now. How have you got into Network London?
So I joined TechVet in November last year is when I started poking around and I want to change. I know it's going to be in tech. I just don't know how to get there, because it was a big daunting space full of job requirements that had laundry lists of things you needed before you could get any job, it seemed like. But I jumped on an onboarding call with who was that with? That was with Rachel, an onboarding call. She brought us through it, spoke to me, and gave me an idea of where to go, what to do, and just I shot in the right direction, worked hard, and now I'm at Network London.
That's amazing. And that's actually quite a speedy transition from, working as a personal trainer to deciding you want to work in tech. You've done it within the year, which is pretty impressive. How has your life changed since you changed roles and upskilled?
How's my life? That's a great question. I think I've got something to focus on a bit more, because it is such a wide space and there's a lot to learn. It's very deep, which is what attracted me to it. I feel like, yes, I work during the day and I enjoy it, but I also, when I get home, I still want to give that extra 10% and continue learning a little bit more. So a big change is definitely having something I'm prideful in and having something to work towards.
Which courses have you taken or accessed through TechVets to help you get the job and continue to upskill?
So the first one I took was the CompTIA A+. They offered, it was training through Skillsoft. And I just smashed through that because I knew that was kind of, it's the entry level. It's a big tick in the box. I can get that done. And so a lot of hours went into that, completed that. Then I went on to do a Python Essentials course, which I think was with the Cisco Networking Academy. And I'm currently just about to finish up the Google Cybersecurity Certificate through Coursera.
Oh my gosh, you're like the poster boy for TechVets here, having done all of those qualifications. That's amazing. And when you went for the job interview for Network London, which of those did you have under your belt already?
So at the time, it was just the CompTIA A+.
And did you feel ready to take on that job interview, or were you just hopeful? Because it must be quite daunting to go for a job in a completely new sector with one qualification. How did it go, that interview?
So I think one thing I can do is speak to people and be honest and just tell them where I'm at. And I was honest in the interview, which can shoot you in the foot, but I think in this time kind of put me in the right place. I put my hands up and said, yes, I've only got an entry-level qualification. Yes, this is a new career for me, but I work hard. I'm a quick learner and I can adapt and I can work. And I think they kind of saw that spark, knew I was genuine, and I was taken on despite maybe a lack of formal experience.
That's phenomenal. And did your military experience come up in the interview at all?
It was a big reason I was hired, actually, because they have hired one other veteran before, and this went really well for them. They were a good worker, which ex-military tend to be, and they said, we want another. It's kind of, so yeah, it did come up.
And how long have you been with them now?
I've just finished up my 3rd month.
Oh my goodness me, that's crazy how quickly you've gone through that and then got the other courses going. Out of CompTIA Plus, Python and the Google cybersecurity course, which is the one that you've enjoyed the most?
I enjoyed the CompTIA Plus the most because it was a very, very wide breadth of things to take on. Surface level, but it kind of exposed me to the world of tech and seeing a lot of different avenues and things that there are. And it kind of broadened my horizons. I wouldn't say I learned how to do many things from it, but I got a good idea of the industry from it.
And so in your job with Network London, do you use any of those qualifications kind of day to day?
On my 2nd day at Network London, we went to a client site and we were in a server room and we went down to the back of a server tower, looking in the front, looking in the back, and I recognized everything that was in it, which I definitely wouldn't have done if I hadn't done the A+. I was like, oh, so that's what that is. Oh, so that's what that is. And there's kind of that moment of clarity where you're like, oh, okay, all this hard work I put in, I kind of do understand maybe just a fraction of what's in front of me, it was quite rewarding, actually.
That's phenomenal. I mean, so had you never ever seen a server in real life apart from what you'd done on the course?
I mean, the backgrounds of movies, flashy lights, I don't know, some green text, some person hacking it or something. But apart from that, no, I'd never seen one.
Oh my gosh, did you feel like you'd been unleashed on something when you saw it? Was there any bit of nerves that you might mess it up or press the red button instead of the blue button?
Well, luckily I wasn't the one in charge that day. I was kind of just observing and probably asking too many questions or not enough questions, who knows?
Oh my gosh. So in your current role, do you work side by side with the other veteran?
So the other veteran is fully working from home, but we're part of the same team and we'll communicate on Teams.
And is their background RAF as well, or are they a different service?
They were also Air Force, yes.
Okay. Do you think Network London might ever consider employing someone from the Army or the Navy, or do you think you've set such a good precedent between the two of you that they'll be looking for more RAF people to come through?
I don't think it's just RAF. I think it's veterans.
That's good news. And what's the what are the kind of things you mentioned that they really liked their first veteran hire? What have you picked up on that they see in you guys that they don't get in people who haven't done service?
It's attitude, it's accountability, and it's adaptability. The attitude to go and get things done and want to take things on. The adaptability to kind of, oh, okay, there's a problem in front of me. I don't know the answer, but I'll try and work it out. And number 3 has escaped me again. God, I'm bad at this.
It was adaptability, attitude,
and accountability.
Accountability, that was it.
Yeah, so the attitude to want to get things done, the adaptability to, if there's a problem in front of you, if you don't know the answer, you're going to try and work it out. And the accountability where, let's say you've tried to work it out, it's not gone quite right, you will raise that red flag and you will get it sorted.
And how, talk us through your military career a bit. So was your career techie, or did you leave the service and come out? What did you do in your time with the RAF?
So my time in the RAF was very short and sweet. It was a 4-year service and I worked as an operations specialist, which I've always described as a jack of all trades role that kind of tries to fill a lot of gaps and kind of lube the wheel to say, oil the wheel to say, and try and make things work. Me specifically, I worked in an air traffic control tower. And the way I like to think about it is you have the controllers in there speaking to the aircraft, doing that safety critical role. And then you have the operations specialists trying to make everything else kind of run at the tower and as smoothly as possible to allow them to do their job.
What did you like about your time in the RAF?
It was a great experience, and I got to do some very cool things. And working with aircraft every day. For me, Chinooks and Pumas, and seeing those go around, and having a lot of responsibility as just a 20-year-old. That was my favorite part.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just seeing something cool, kind of being trained well enough and being trusted to work hard, be safe, and try and, do that flight safety critical role.
What made you decide to get out?
So I got engaged. I've got a fiance that I love very much, and it was kind of, the military is right for some people, not right for others, and it wasn't perfect for me.
And how did your other half feel about you getting out? Were they nervous about you leaving? Were they happy for you to leave?
Very nervous, but they trusted me, and we thought about it for a while. It wasn't a spur of the moment decision. They were probably more nervous because when I left, I became a personal trainer, and then I left that job before I had IT lined up. And then you don't have that cushion of your leave allowance and things in the forces when you do that. So she's probably more nervous then.
When you decided to make the jump from personal training to tech, did you ever have any wobbles and think, I don't know, should I stay in what I know, what's safe? How did you navigate that?
Oh, yeah, it was all a wobble. I was never not wobbling. Like I said, I left the personal training job, and that was in December, and I didn't start in Network London until March or April or something like that. And during that time period, I was upskilling while also applying to every job under the sun that would maybe take me. So that was a stressful time period, that's for sure.
Did you have other offers or interviews that came in?
Yes, so I had a few, but this one from Network London was a referral through TechVets, which definitely put me in good stead.
And how have you found it so far? So you've been in the job 3 months, and we know you've mentioned the courses that you've done already. What have you got your sights on for the future in terms of upskilling, but also where do you want to be in 3 or 5 years from now?
I think with me being quite juvenile in my tech career at the moment, I'm focusing on the current role and getting everything I can out of that. Because I don't know the big wide world of tech really that well yet, and this is a good role because it's fingers in many pies. So I'm looking at this job for now and trying to be the best operator I can for that. But in terms of qualifications, as you mentioned, because I'm a bit of a qualification-aholic, to be honest, going to do the CCNA next, and then do Security Plus, and then I don't know, probably go on holiday for a bit.
You probably deserve it after that point.
Yes.
Do you stay in touch with any of your former RAF colleagues?
Yeah, I still stay in contact with a few of my colleagues. I've still got their WhatsApp lines, and we'll occasionally do some calls, and what do I call them on? I can't remember, but we do some calls and things like that. But it's I don't have a car now, so it's kind of hard to visit your forces mates when you don't have a car, because the bases are all so in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And do they ever want to come and kind of stay with you, or do you ever feel that they're kind of probing about your new job and, thinking about a jump maybe themselves?
I've not heard that from anyone, The people who are in seem to be, wanting to be in. And of course, with me being younger as well, a lot of the people that I was friends with are still young as well, and they've still got a long career in the forces ahead for them, and it's right for them. However, again, like I said, it wasn't quite right for me, so I left.
And for other people who are listening, we talked earlier about the Google event where we met, we had a chat. What would you say to encourage other people to attend the events that the Forces Employment Charity and TechVets run? Why should they head to them?
Well, at the end of them, there's free beer. So if that doesn't get everyone going, then I don't know what will. That is the forces rally cry. But no, just when you're in the military, you don't understand the civilian world. It is an alien object, and you're good at very many things. But you do not understand this beast. It is totally different, and it is a big change from what you've done previously. So the opportunity to go to a lot of massive companies and just see, oh, okay, so that's what they do. Oh, this job exists. Oh, okay, that's how they speak. Oh, this is what they want to offer for veterans. Oh, okay. It gives you a lot more clarity because there's a bit of a fog of war kind of on that transition on the way out.
I think that's really good advice. And you seem so confident. You almost kind of set your mind on getting a tech job, upskilled, got the job, and it makes it sound almost like a really easy path and almost like a dream kind of transition. Was it really as easy as you make it sound?
I mean,
It's okay to say yes.
If you leave your job and don't have something lined up and think, I'm going to upskill in a new career field and I'm going to do it as fast as I can because I'm going to have a lot of time, you could be a lucky one like me where it could work out, right? But I'm sure for every one of me, there is somebody that has not worked out for. So I'd say be sensible. Because as much as it sounds easy, it was a lot of work, a lot of work and a lot of stress.
How did you cope with the stress? What was your kind of way of keeping your eye on the prize?
I just did it. I just put one foot in front of the other. And again, I think that's the force's characteristic. It's like, well, it is what it is. It's got to be done.
For anyone who's listening who might have tried to emulate your route into tech, but is still stumbling at those hurdles of getting interviews or across the line, well, firstly, how can they get in touch with you if they want to just have a chat and get a bit of probably motivation, top tips to keep them, focused and heading for their goal?
Well, I'm on the Tech Vets Discord. Robbie or Robbie Ramsay in there, one of the two. You'll be able to find me. There's a photo of my face. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me there. I'm not an authority figure by any means, but I think being somebody who wasn't particularly experienced, because you see a lot of people like, oh, I've done a 24-year career and I'm a commander of 12 bases. If you're someone like me, you can't relate to them too much. So, that could be useful for someone.
Yeah, I think there'll be lots of people who are listening who can probably relate to have done, 4 years, potentially less, and be looking at their next career, because it is a career. It's not just a job. You've changed sectors, and a whole new world is open for you to explore as you go on through your working years. What advice would you give to someone who is sat on the fence and thinks tech looks really interesting? I feel like it might be for me, but I don't know where to start. How should someone in that situation start?
If you know nothing about tech, no idea what it is, but it seems kind of interesting, do the A+. Just go through the course curriculum. You'll kind of see what there is. Kind of immerse yourself in it. I'd say I listened to almost every episode of Darknet Diaries, and I listened to Cyberwire daily because I get to hear about tech. I kind of see what they're talking about. And if you listen to Darknet Diaries as well, it makes it all sound very cool and glamorous. So that might, motivate you and pique your interest further, and it'll show you different careers that you might be interested in. And then you can also decide, oh, this all sounds really, really boring. And if that's the case, don't come to tech.
That's really good advice. Well, on that note, Robbie, we'll leave it there, but it would be great to catch up with you in 6 to 12 months to see where you are, how many tens of courses you've got under your belt in the next 6 months. Maybe that's the challenge that we set you. So you've clearly done, 3 between December and July?
Yeah, December and now, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you've done 3 in 6 months. So if we touch base in 6 months or a year, you should have had another 3 or another 6 under.
Well, I think my head of hair is currently doing all right. You might be able to tell I've not cut it since I've left. And I think if I do another 3 in the next 6 months, I might be bald. So maybe not, but we'll see how I've done the job. Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be great to catch up with you again. And for anyone who's listening who wants to find out more, because if you are new to tech and you want to find out about the courses that Robbie has mentioned, head to www.techvets.co and you'll find out about Skillsoft's CompTIA Plus course, which TechVets offers to its members for free. You'll also find out about the partnership with Cisco, which provides the Python essentials. And you can also find out about not only the Google cybersecurity qualification by Coursera. It's Coursera, is that correct?
By Coursera, yeah.
Coursera, yep. But there's also lots of other Google courses on there. And of course, if you've enjoyed listening to Robbie and you're in a similar position to him, feel free to reach out to him on Discord or LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Robbie. It's been a bit of a whirlwind for you, but we very much look forward to catching up with you again in a few months' time to see where you are.
Speak to you then, Meredith. Thank you for having me.